This is the man who just passed a very sneaky undercover subterfuge bill late Friday, yesterday, automatically drafting our kids, you and mine, 18 to 26, into the military. Automatically. This is a draft. This is the guy. Watch this. If you haven't seen this, I almost pause and reflect here, because how many times, what's it going to take for this consortium, this Obama-Clinton consortium, to wake up and go, you know what, this is just, enough is enough. No matter how much juice we give this guy, no matter how many teleprompter, no matter how many edits, no matter how many cuts, no matter how many public appearances, no matter everything that we try, this guy is a walking corpse. Watch this. This is at the G7 conference. And notice how all of the world leaders, this is the world stage, all the world leaders are looking in the same direction, clapping, and look where our vegetable in chief goes. The whole entire world is watching us. Wanders off into God knows where. Where is he going? It takes the Italian president to finally say, look, moron, over here. This is what you're supposed to be paying attention to. This is the guy that wants to send our kids to his forever war. Travesty, embarrassment, disgrace. Look at him. He looks like a stiff corpse. He doesn't even know where he is right now. Horrifying, terrifying, scary. So let's talk about this. The House passed a defense bill automatically registering men 18 to 26 for the draft. Automatically, folks. Automatically. Let's talk about what this bill entails here. The House of Representatives passed a measure on Friday automatically registering men aged 18 to 26 for selective service. It was part of the annual National Defense Authorization Act, or the NDAA, which sets out the U.S. government's military and national security priorities over the next fiscal year. This year's NDAA authorizes $895 billion in military spending, a $9 billion increase from fiscal year 2024. While it hasn't been invoked in over a half a century, I think the last draft was during the Vietnam War, it's mandatory for all male U.S. citizens. This is very important. This is extremely important to understand. It is mandatory for all male U.S. citizens to register for the selective service, also known as the military draft, when they turn 18. Failure to register is classified as a felony and comes with a host of legal challenges. So I'm not sure if most of you guys are aware, but every military expert, specialist, current and past, has said it is inevitable that Ukraine is going to lose. It's inevitable. We've spent over $200 billion of our hard-earned taxpayer dollars, the blood and sweat of hardworking Americans' backs. We have sent this overseas. It is an actual fact that President Tombstone Chief, Vegetable in Chief Biden has done more for Ukraine in one term than he has in 50 years for America. Let me repeat that because it bears repeating. President Biden has done more for Ukraine in one term than he has for the United States of America in the last 50 years. I want you to really embrace yourself and collapse into that fact. This is why I keep saying it is the most consequential election of our lifetimes. You need to share this with all your liberal friends, your entire liberal family. They don't know this stuff. They don't understand this stuff. We're seeing a little tiny awakening, but we need a loud, resounding, water bucket falling alarm clock on your head, waking this country up. We need to get our country back in November. Please tap that thumbs up because it helps with the algorithm so our video can get pushed to more people. That's the only reason I keep saying tap the like. It's not for vanity. I don't give a rat's ass. I care about my country. I care about my kids. I care about the future of my grandkids, your grandkids, our country. I want our country to flourish, not for 100 years, not for 200 years, for trillions of years. Supporters of the amendment argue that it would cut down on bureaucratic red tape and help U.S. citizens avoid unnecessary legal issues. Well, of course they say that because it's all backed by the Obama-Clinton consortium, as well as cutting down on the taxpayer dollars going toward prosecuting those cases. I'll take my chances. Thank you very much. Oh, what a shock. It was led by Representative Chrissy Houlihan, who is a Democrat from Pennsylvania. That's who led this little sneaky Friday evening vote and passed in the House Armed Services Committee's version of the NDAA in May. The NDAA advanced through the committee in an overwhelming 57-1 vote. The NDAA also includes the largest ever military pay raise in history with a 19.5% increase for junior enlisted troops and a 4.5% increase for others. It is also including funding for 2 Virginia-class submarines and the establishment of a drone force within the U.S. Army, among other provisions. The NDAA passed the House in a 217 to 199 vote. However, it is unlikely to be taken up by the Senate. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer blasted the bill on Friday over the inclusion of amendments curbing funding for abortion, transgender medical care, and diversity efforts. What an absolute shock. Probably the worst politician next to pushing up daisies, Pelosi, next to cackling Kamala. He's probably in the top 3 worst. Put Schiff in there too, the snake of all snakes, Schiff from California. Vote for Steve Garvey, please. I beg you, let's save our state. This is one of the worst politicians that's ever lived. This guy wants to add funding to Ukraine. He wants to decrease funding for our own protection, our own border. He wants to increase funding for abortion, transgender medical care, and diversity efforts, which are absolutely useless and do nothing to further any American first causes at all, that help any normal American citizens, hardworking taxpayers at all. This is what he says. He says, I quote, "Unsurprisingly, the legislation coming out of the House today is loaded with anti-LGBTQ. That's why I kind of like it. Anti-choice, anti-environment, and other divisive amendments guaranteed not to pass the Senate," Schumer said. As we move forward with this year's NDAA process, both sides will have to work together to pass bipartisan legislation that honors and respects all who serve in defense of our nation. What an LAD, you giant lion-ass dog. You think Chuck the Duck gives a rat's ass about America? You think Chuck the Duck Schumer cares about America, cares about our efforts, cares about our border, cares about inflation, cares about middle-class, hardworking Americans like you and me? He doesn't give a rat's ass about us. Something that's worth noting here is also that Tombstone Biden, and probably one of the most corrupt criminal presidents in any global setting, history, or epoch, Zelensky, they just worked on a deal to help and secure funding of our money, y'all. Listen to this. It's very careful. For the next 10 years to Ukraine. Let me say that one more time. They just worked on a deal that is set to secure. It's already been established, signed, dotted. Everything's been set. They signed a deal. They signed an agreement together at G7 without any kind of a notification to the American public that they secured funding for the next 10 years to Ukraine. So he has just literally signed the death certificate of millions of our young men and women, millions of our young children over the next 10 years. It is almost a guaranteed inevitability, especially if he wins in November, which would be gobsmackingly shocking, that we would have boots on the ground, that American services, our men and women, our young men and women, would be over there on the ground, in the land, on land, sea, and air, fighting Russia, and God knows, potentially in the throes of World War III. I mean, this guy, there's no stopping this guy. You've got Iran attacking Israel. You've got Hamas and Israel still going absolutely crazy. Hezbollah, terrorist organizations feeling more emboldened because this guy's a vegetable. You've got other sovereign nations. The Middle East is in absolute turmoil. It is the most turmoil, the most disarray, that region. Our relationship with China, our relationship with Russia, our relationship with dictators like Kim Jong-un in North Korea, who's been threatening ballistic missile tests almost on the regular. It is now you've got now, get this, which is just insane. You've now got Russian nuclear submarines cruising through the waters near Cuba, less than 90 miles away from mainland United States, coastal Florida. Absolutely terrifying. That's why I keep saying you've got to tap that thumbs up. You got to share this with everybody you know, because we need to raise awareness. Media is the best weapon, not violence. We're not I support law enforcement. This is not about violence. I do not want to hurt any of my brethren, my American patriot brethren. No. We don't want to do that over these schmucks. No. Media is the best way. Raising awareness, making people see the truth, the objective truth of what's really going on here. I don't want my son being automatically registered for a war that has absolutely no benefit to America and is, again, deemed by military experts across the board to be an inevitable failure and an inevitable loss for Ukraine. I don't want that, especially under this vegetable in chief. I definitely don't want that. And I know you don't either. So please share this and like this. But I throw this off to you. Scary, terrifying times. What do you think of this? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. If you made it this far, don't forget, sign up for our free newsletter. It's absolutely free. All you got to do is give us your best email and you're in. This is our Nez Nation Insider newsletter. This is your sure-proof, fail-safe way of never missing out on another video, live stream, top stories as they happen, breaking current events right to your inbox so you never miss out. I want you to subscribe and follow, but also if you get in on that free newsletter, it's almost like your insurance policy, because a lot of these platforms, especially channels like mine, especially when I talk about the things that the woke left don't want me talking about, they suppress. And even if you click on notifications, you don't always get notified. So that is your sure proof in the show notes, pinned comment, and description down below. I love you guys. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right now. As always, God bless you, and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.